Hello everyone and welcome back to another devlog. In this devlog, I'm going to be implementing some basic networking infrastructure and setting up multiplayer movement. But before I do that, I want to make some changes to the player controller. Currently, the only way you can aim down sights is by crouching, so I decided to make it like every other game where you can aim down sights using the right mouse button. Next, I want to add something that's a little less noticeable, however it still is really important. Well, it's actually two things, and these two things are the jump buffer and Coyote time. First, let's take a look at Coyote time. Coyote time is the amount of time you have to jump after leaving a surface without jumping, for example falling off a ledge. And the jump buffer works similarly in that it remembers that you press space for a certain amount of time, and if you land on the ground within that amount of time, you will still jump. Now on to adding multiplayer. For the networking infrastructure, I'm going to use fishnet, which is an open source free to use networking infrastructure. Unfortunately, it wasn't as easy as importing the infrastructure and setting it up with my player, because that caused a whole bunch of errors. But after fixing those errors, I was able to set up some basic movement. However, there is one problem, and that problem is that this is client authoritative. Basically what that means is that the calculations for player position are done on the client, which isn't problematic on its own, but as soon as you introduce cheaters, then this becomes a huge vulnerability, because cheaters can simply just modify their position to whatever they want and essentially teleport around on the server or just move really fast. But now let's reverse the roles and have the server do the calculations, and instead of setting the position of their player, the clients would send their input data, and the server would return their position. This makes it impossible to move faster than normal or teleport around the map. This does introduce the issue of input lag, since the client has to wait for the server to respond in order to see their movement. This can be avoided by using something called client prediction, but that's quite complex, so I'm not going to go over it in this video. But after essentially rewriting half of my player controller script, which is quite long, we now have server authoritative movement, and clients that are not the server are unable to cheat. Next, I made the animations function properly for connected clients, and unfortunately that's all I have time for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.